Hi, everybody. Happy January. I hope that you've had a really good start to 2026. Unfortunately, this is a time of year that a lot of people struggle with what is known as seasonal depression. The fact that our days are shorter, we're not getting as much sunlight as we normally receive. We're going to work in the dark, we're coming home in the dark. We are dealing with cold weather and lots of gray days and just wet and nasty. And that can just get to us sometimes, especially if we are already going through some kind of an emotional situation like the loss of a loved one or sickness or whatever. So I really try to be intentional about planning some events, some things that I can look forward to throughout the winter months to kind of get me through so that I don't fall prey to that seasonal depression. So, for some people, it may be going to a concert or going to a basketball game, something like that. For me, it is planning events where I can host in my home. So, I want to talk a little bit about being hospitable and hosting in our homes. It doesn't have to be large, but it can be having a group of friends over to play some games. It may be a soup and dessert night. For my lady, I have a group of ladies that come to my house on Tuesday nights for Bible study. And about 3 years ago, we started planning a ladies' retreat, a weekend getaway at a lake house where we could spend time together. And it was basically just a pick me up, and we intentionally plan on it in either late January or early February so that after Christmas we have something to look forward to. But today I want to just talk about having a few friends over for lunch. That is something that can be good for yourself or good for your friends, or maybe just people that are in your neighborhood that may be suffering a loss or just lonely. They live alone and they're lonely, and you can invite them over and brighten their day. So when you plan a little lunch like that, I would suggest a menu of something pretty simple like chicken salad or maybe pimento cheese, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. You may serve that along with a side garden salad, or maybe a broccoli salad, or some kind of an Asian slaw, something like that. And then maybe top it off with the chocolate chip cookie, or one of my favorites is a tea cake with icing. Love it. So it doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to be difficult, and it can make a big difference. So let's just jump into what I have planned for us today, and that is to look at a pimento cheese recipe. And this is kind of a staple. If you're from the southeast United States, this is kind of a staple. I think all Southerners have had or enjoy pimento cheese at some point in time throughout the year. I personally do not love pimento cheese, or I used to not love pimento cheese. And I think it's because most of the pimento cheese I had ever eaten had to do with Velveeta. It was a Velveeta based pimento cheese. And it's not that I think I'm too good for Velveeta, but it is that because I love Velveeta in macaroni and cheese, and I love a good Velveeta Rotel cheese dip. So it's not that, but for some reason I could take a bite or two and I'm over it. But with this recipe, this is a fan favorite pimento cheese recipe. When I make it and take it places, this is one of the hits of the party. It is something that people are asking me, can I have that recipe? And it's just very basic and very simple. So I want to just throw it together for you in the next couple of minutes and show you just how simple it is, but yet it's yummy. So what I have here, if you'll look at my ingredients, I have a couple of cups of cheddar cheese. I'm going to use about 2 cups. And let me say this before I go on, I'm only making half of this recipe because I'm just going to make this for my husband Brent and me to eat on this week. So we've got about 2 cups of cheese. We have 1 cup of just sharp cheddar cheese and about a cup of an extra sharp white cheddar cheese. And so I'm just going to go ahead and throw that into my bowl. Get those every little piece of those cheeses. And as I put the cheese in the bowl, I do want to say these are cheeses that I shred myself. I do think that when you shred your cheese instead of buying the pre-packaged shredded cheese, it's better. It's better for you, and it just tastes better. So that, to me, is the hardest part of this whole recipe, and that's not even hard. And then I'm going to put in a 4-ounce jar of pimentos, which is about half of a cup. We're going to, let me grab a spoon. We're going to throw in about 1/4 of a cup of mayonnaise. And then I'm going to throw in 1 chopped jalapeno. The other hardest part of this whole thing, which is not hard at all. And then I'm just going to stir those things together. And you can see everything's coming together, and it's just beautiful. It's really colorful with the jalapenos and with the pimentos, and then the orange and the white cheese just makes it look really, really pretty. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of, shake a little bit of pepper and a dash of salt. And then for part of the star of the show, I guess you might say, is I'm going to put in a little bit of hot sauce. And this just gives it a little bit of pizzazz. And you can put as much or as little as you want, or don't put any at all, but I just think it makes it a little bit better. So I'm going to put in almost 1/2 of a teaspoon in this little bit that we're making today. And I think that's plenty, and you can use any brand you want. And I'll say that about your cheese as well. You may want to just use just a regular yellow cheddar cheese, because that's what you have in your refrigerator, and that's fine as well. But I like to mix it with the white. And then you can see how it turned out. It's very beautiful, very pretty. So I'm going to put a little bit on my plate, and I want to show you this plate. This is a plate by Magnolia. It's a little garden plate. I think it's called an heirloom garden, and I think it's really pretty, and that's what I'm using today. So let's talk about what you serve pimento cheese with. So today I'm going to just serve a little bit on, let me grab another spoon here. I'm going to eat mine with crackers. And you can use any kind of cracker you want. I'm just going to go old-fashioned, and I'm going to use a Ritz cracker. But you could use anything. You could put it on bread and make a sandwich, put it on a croissant. I also like to eat my pimento cheese on a croissant. Or a lot of good old Southerners would like to eat their pimento cheese on just plain white bread and just have a sandwich that way. That's a really popular way of eating it too. But I've noticed over the past 5 or 10 years there's been an increase in adding pimento cheese to hamburgers or to chicken biscuits, or I feel like I've even seen it offered on a steak. So pimento cheese is just out there. You can do whatever you want to. It's very versatile. But this is going to be served today with a good old-fashioned Ritz cracker. Very tasty, very good. For a girl who never liked pimento cheese, I'm telling you, this is a wonderful recipe. Wonderful. So the best part about it is that it will stay for about a week in your refrigerator. So I'm just going to take and put this in, and I'm going to grab another spoon and put this in a jar. And this jar, I'm just going to put the lid on it and then throw it in the refrigerator, and my husband and I will eat on this all week long, and it will just be one of those things that's very easy peasy. You can make a sandwich with it, or we might even do some supper or have a midnight snack, whatever it is. But just throw it into your jar. It'll fill up this little jar, put the lid on it, and go with it. So easy to do. I just want to encourage you to try it. It's really tasty, and I think you're going to like it. So my challenge to you is this: blast the blues. Do not let the blues get to you this winter. Do what you can to take care of yourself, take care of your mind, body, and soul, and take care of the mind, bodies, and souls of those around you. So I challenge you to open up your home and invite people over to eat around your table, to have good discussions, and to build those relationships, and just make your community a brighter place and a happier place. So until next time, we'll see you later.